District Board of Directors meeting on this Tuesday, September 13th, 2022. We'll call it to order at 7:09 p.m. And our board appointed secretary is traveling, not here tonight at a conference. So we have the assistant business manager here, and we have to appoint someone, presumably her, as the secretary. So I'll take a motion to appoint Jessica Rudd as the board secretary for tonight.
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, any other questions? No questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, ayes have it. And Jessica, thank you for filling in tonight. And we'll deal with the agenda item here a little later on as to whether Richard hasn't replied yet as to whether we can approve that without having seen that attachment. So, sorry, I forgot to give you the go. You're good. All right. Okay. Then with that, let's move now to the salute to the flag. You rise and join me for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. On item 1B, are there any recognitions or presentations tonight? Not seeing any activity, so there must not be. Student representative, do you have something for us?
School has been getting back into swing. I've personally noticed some positive feedback from students. Haven't really gotten any questions, suggestions. I do know that the mock trial team is going to be participating at the Yale virtual program on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Students have been working incredibly hard, myself included, in that team. I feel pretty good about us doing well in this competition. I do know that we are going to be destroyed the first day, but as Ms. Earl has said, we will find a way to bounce back and do better the second day. So,
thank you. Okay. All right. Move on now to the reading of the minutes, and we have the meeting minutes from August 19th for the regular meeting, and then the August 17th special session. So if you had a chance to look at them, and if there's no corrections in those, I'd entertain a motion to approve those minutes.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Okay, in our prior presentation, we have with us tonight Pastor Matthew Wagner. Come forward, sir, and speak to us.
Thank you. Thank you. Kind of feels like forever since I've been here. I don't know about you, but it seems like sometimes faces change, except for Principal Myers. I know that guy. He's a hero of mine. He really is. Look at that. I still got 2 kids coming up in the middle school. I got one in middle school and one coming up, so I got to be good to this guy. To the board, I want to remind you of what I said last time I was here, which is still true today. One of our greatest abilities is making ourselves available to do the duty that we're called into. And I know the people of this community has voted you to be here, but making yourself available shows that you care. And that's one of the greatest attributes that we have as people. Now, I'm no scholar, but there's this Chinese man named Lao Chao. He was a Chinese philosopher. He once said that from caring comes courage. And the courage we need comes from knowing that we are standing together as one community and one people. We are the Montoursville community who, as mothers and fathers and grandfathers and grandmothers and even parents-to-be, we are tasked with loving, correcting, guiding, and teaching our children in our community what unity looks like in a community. And I believe that unity begins right here with us, with the educational system. So I'd like to say this, in case you haven't heard it yet today. I believe in you, in each and every one of you. And you've made yourself available. And I know you care, and that takes courage. I also like to say, for those who are part of the community, thanks for being here. You've made yourself available, and that takes courage, because I know you care. So hear these words. You're loved. You're believed in. And I do believe that we are truly better together. Can we pray? Heavenly Father, you are our gracious God, and we pause before the start of the school board meeting to lift our hearts to you in prayer and thanksgiving for all your many mercies to us throughout the past months and years, and to seek your face as these wonderful, amazing individuals that are elected and that are here to represent the community as they prepare to make plans for the future of our school. And we pray that you will give each one here the wisdom to discuss the many important issues and to make their decisions wisely. We thank you that you have guarded and guided the development of the school for so long. And so tonight, we together lift each other up. We lift the staff. We lift the board. We lift the community. And most importantly, we lift each child that has been touched by these men and women. And I humbly ask you, Father, to continue to bless each and every life that's here, or that would be here, who would seek your wisdom and guidance and courage and strength in all issues and areas that touch their lives. And Lord, keep our pride down and humble us before your throne and humble us before others and grant us the integrity to stand up for what we believe is right. Let our voices become one, united in Christ, just as he was one with you, Father. So into your loving hands we place this meeting, trusting you to lead and guide this meeting tonight, to protect our schools for the future, for your praise and for your glory. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor.
Thank you.
At this time, we'll have we'll take public comment on any items, regarding the district, agenda items for tonight, past actions, any other matters of concern. So we have a 3-minute unpaused time frame for you to come forward and tell us who you are and express your concern or whatever else you might have for us.
Jack Callahan. I have jotted down some stuff. Elijah Eck, he's I think a 6th grade student at probably at the middle school. He finished 8th in his age bracket and was on ESPN delayed. This is the same home run hitting contest that the Kirby finished, I think, 3rd last year. That's 2 years in a row that little leaguers from Montoursville have got on TV and finished in the top 8 in the United States. And I also had, there's this, I don't know what happened to it. I enjoyed hearing it from George Hagemeyer and Bob Logue. Both were very enthusiastic in what they had to do on the school board. And they liked working with the kids, and they were successful. What happened to that program, I want to know. Or why, if it's still going on or what. Anybody answer it?
If you're talking about LCTC, it's still going on.
Okay, that's good, thanks. And, yeah, I know, schools are academic, but what can be done for the kids who take the general courses? Could there be more given to them, or is there more being given to them, or what? I know the academics are pretty cut and dry, and the kids and that, but there's the kids that take the general courses, what's happening to them? Or is there things being done for them? Is there? Yeah, okay, that sounds great. And I also like to mention that Lewisburg has their things for sports is 10 times as what ours is, and these other schools are Warrior Run, Milton, Mifflinburg, you know, name it, all these schools are upgrading their programs by upgrading their facilities. So I think we're gonna have to keep an eye on what's going on in our sports world here and it's getting tougher and tougher, it's more competitive. And all our sports teams, I think, are doing well, which is great. All right, that's all.
Thank you, Dave.
Good evening, Sharon Meyer, Fairfield Township. I recently wrote you guys about class sizes in our school district. And I just wanted to come and speak to it again because I did receive an email back from Mr. Taramino stating that they were fine with the class sizes. I understand that maybe from the outside world you look at 20, 22, 25, and it's like that's acceptable. But in talking to a lot of teachers, this is where it comes from, is speaking to those elementary school teachers and talking to them about class sizes. I will be honest with you, I wasn't aware because I was paying attention to fourth grade at later, because last year we were in this situation where later third grade was going to have 27 to 30 kids, and I came to you guys and I brought it to your attention. They hired 2 long-term subs. Those 2 long-term subs moved up with that grade, so they're still at a lower class size. The response I received was fiscal responsibility, and that one got to me because we have added a lot of administration. I mean, no offense, and I think you're a wonderful guy, but your job could have paid for 2 teachers. We're going to talk to him again. You know, we probably do need an assistant principal. But again, the most important thing in the district is teachers and students. And I feel like we have no problem hiring administrators. Like we don't. Like it doesn't blank. I mean, I know I fought, and again, Dan, you know I fought against having your position. You know, it's nice to see a superintendent here, so I will say that. But it bothers me because I listen to the teachers and I listen to them talk to me about the amount of kids in our class. And up at your school, you have 2 teachers per grade. You have a third grade with 25 kids in each of those classes. One is almost all IEP kids, almost all. Have you all ever sat in a class, I mean, Tim, you know, in a class with 25 third graders that are all IEP? It's tough. It's tough with 12. I mean, so fiscal responsibility, like, rubbed me the wrong way. I'm sorry. Like, we'll hire an admin, but we won't add a teacher. It just, I also wanted to bring up the AC in the schools, and it's going to be 85 degrees next week at the elementary schools. I know we have elementary school projects going on. Some of the things that have been asked of me to ask of you is the possibilities of if teachers were able to supply their own ACs in their rooms and go on a rotating schedule, because I know the electricity can't handle it. I'm just trying to softball throw things out at you guys just because it is hot. It's not fun when your kids are pouring, you know, ice water over their heads because they're hot. I have a kid in one of those schools, so just something to consider, possibly allowing them to bring in something. Also, I don't know if it was considered getting in earlier to open windows when it's cool in the mornings, because it will be cool, and getting fans going. Just some thoughts, but please consider when you're looking at these elementary school projects, getting more teachers in those elementary schools and getting it down to closer to 18. Kindergartens with 20 and 22 kids, it's not your job. The job of this district is to have kids learn. And having it at the optimal size and the smaller teacher, the one-on-one individual attention, you can't redo that. You can't make it up later. So, thanks.
Thank you, Sharon.
Brenda Ulenheim was on court, so mine will be short and sweet. I'm kind of following up from where Sharon was at. My comment concerns a new assistant middle school principal position being added to the district. As I said before, it's not personal. I appreciate the principals we already have in place and do not take for granted their work for the children or our district. However, I've spoken to teachers that have been employed in the district prior to Mrs. Eason being hired by Montoursville. They inform me the district's administrative staff has grown and grown despite our district having less students than it did when Mrs. Basin was hired. I witnessed a continual increase in administrative staff and approved by the board myself. Our district definitely needs more teachers per student, not more assistants upon assistants upon assistants. Thank you.
If there's no one else, then we'll move along with the agenda. We'll move now to the business manager's report. And Jessica, you want to walk us through that?
You have received copies of the treasurer's report for the period ending August 31st, 2022 for the general fund and the cafeteria fund. You're submitting these to the board for your consideration of approval.
Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. No budgetary transfers?
Yes,
Oh,
no.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right.
Presentation of the bills. You have received copies of the listing of invoices for the general fund and cafeteria fund for the period ending August 13th of 2022. You're submitting these to the board for your consideration of approval and payment.
Move to approve.
Second. Questions?
Yes. First of all, Jessica, can you move the microphone closer so that people can hear you talk? So they can hear you talk, you're soft spoken.
Sorry.
Yeah, I have a question for 3 checks. The first one is 63359, the purchase of 64 iPads for the cost of $17,640. Could I get an explanation on the purchase of those iPads?
Yeah, so those iPads were purchased to replace the oldest in our fleet. We're trying to keep it on a pretty constant cycle of replacing approximately that many every year as opposed to letting everything die and doing it all at once. And then the nice thing about that too is once we get those in place and we're able to take the old ones out, we should be able to sell off the old ones for some revenue to offset that a little bit. But that keeps us a little bit consistent.
How many iPads do we have in the district?
Off the top of my head, almost 500.
Now, you're not talking about Chromebooks, are you?
No, just iPads for kindergarten through first grade.
Thank you.
Yep.
The next question is on check number 63372, student info system for $30,745.90. Is this an annual charge?
Yes, that's just a renewal of our student information system that we renew every year.
And this student information system, is this a new one that we just bought?
No. We didn't purchase a new system this year, we purchased a new financial system this year. The student system is what has all of our students and the grade books and the teachers, it's what they're using. It's separate from the financial system.
It costs over $30,000 a year to renew.
Yeah, and that's actually, I believe there's actually a few more modules that are not included there, but yes.
And the last question is check number 63438, services on 26 GPS units. I take it here for the bus, and it's for $9,240.
That one would be a transportation question, I'm not sure of that one. The GPS unit?
Yeah, that's for the van.
And is that an annual charge?
No, that is not. That is for the installation, it should be.
I thought we already had those.
That was one you asked about.
Yeah, that was one of them, yes.
Just give me a second to pull that bill up. That's the annual invoice for services on the 26 GPS units. So that's an annual.
So that's another annual fee.
Yes.
When we get these, when the board approves, software and things for the district, I'd like for the administration to let us know what the yearly costs are gonna be after we purchase the software, because we've been purchasing a lot of software and then we get bills for upgrades or whatever to the software that we purchased, and it's adding to our budget because we're getting yearly charges every year for them.
Yeah, that's usually in the agreements that come to the board, so PAE tab, which you had actually asked, is that an annual? And the answer to that was yes. CSIU was approved many moons ago, so you maybe wouldn't know that at the time. But yes, it will come in the agreements that you approve, the annual costs.
Thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions? Hearing none, then I'll ask the secretary to take a roll call vote.
Mr. Albert?
Yes.
Mr. Badger?
Yes.
Mrs. Berry?
Yes.
Mr. LaCrone?
Yes.
Mrs. Mathers?
Yes.
Mr. Schimmel?
Yes.
Mr. Snuff?
Yes.
Mr. Ulmer?
Yes.
And Mr. Young?
Yes.
Okay, moving along, is there any particular business report tonight, Jessica, or?
No, there is not, sir.
Okay, all right. Okay, move now to the superintendent's report, and in lieu of the superintendent's report, which we received via email, of course, we'll go around the room and see how, well, Mr. Myers, I'm going over here to the right.
How are you?
I'm going to Mr. Johnson tonight, so, Mr. Johnson, how are you tonight?
I'm well.
What do you have for us?
The year is up and rolling. Kids are digging in. They're in their classes. They're doing what they need to do. I'm again humbled and elated to be part of this team in this district. I think we're a couple weeks in, and I'm really impressed with what our teachers are doing in the classrooms, the connections they're building with kids. I did share some highlights in the board report, in terms of moving forward with curriculum review and the teacher effectiveness in conjunction with the PAE test software as we do some evaluations. We're getting ready for PSATs in October. Homecoming's right around the corner. Athletic teams are in full swing for fall sports. We're moving. The mock drop teams get ready to see what they got. So it's good. It's good to visit a lot of the classes and see what's happening, and the kids are doing well, and I feel that we're settling into a pretty good group here in the fall.
I know that Mr. T, like to traverse the sidelines. I hear that you're up in the stands with kids. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. You're brave?
That's for the fun.
Okay. All right. Well, Mr. Henry, how are you tonight?
Doing well, thank you. Doing well. Start of the school year has gone very, very well. First couple weeks have gone very smoothly. Our teachers have been working very hard. They worked hard during the 3 in-service days, preparing their classes and collaborating with the regular education teachers to ensure that they had all the appropriate information regarding their students. So things have gone well there on that front. I also have, in my board report, an update from the U.S. Department of Education that came out recently. Pennsylvania was notified back in June by the USD Office of Special Education Programs that they had received the level of NEET requirements determination, which is the highest level that the federal government awards to various states under Part B of IDEA. Pennsylvania was one of 22 states and territories that actually received this distinction this year. And in the Commonwealth, out of the 16 years that the federal government has been awarding states, has been recognized 15 of the 16 years at that level. So I feel good to know that we're in a state that is continuing to make progress and doing very good things when it comes to special education for their students. And the last thing that I have is the multi-tier system of support, which we call MTSS. We have developed the schedules for the 2 elementary schools for this committee to meet regularly, and they meet to discuss the needs of our students. We try to make sure that we're talking about our students, talking about the data regarding our students, and then providing whatever interventions we can to really see if we can help our students out before even considering or looking at an evaluation for special education services. We want to make sure that we've done everything in our power possible, and this team meets regularly. And we've decided this year to start rolling that process out at the middle school level. And we actually had our first meeting today, kind of looking at the process as well as looking at some students already. So it's going very well, and I'm glad that we're expanding it to the middle school level as well.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Sebastian, do you have anything for us?
Nothing new for you this time.
Okay. Joe?
The only thing I have is I want to give a real big thanks to Dincher Tree Surgeons for helping us out. They really stepped up for our Memorial Gardens, saved us a lot of time and a lot of money. So I want to thank them for helping us out.
And get the tree at the valley.
God did that one.
I know that. We took care of it. After the state got it off the road.
Actually, Mr. Hebron up there, our Matt Hebron, had to cut it, get it out of the road.
Oh, really?
He heard it on his scanner and went down and cut it for us. Because he lives with me.
Okay, moving over to Mr. Myers.
Okay, well, again, I want to thank Mr. Hanner. We started the MTSS process here at the middle school today. Spent a couple hours looking at students in the process, so thank you for your support there. We're in year 3 of the Path to Graduation grant. We worked to get $3,000 for that grant, but we've been approved for $10,000. And what that grant is for is we're targeting students that have emotional support needs, and we're looking at hopefully providing the mentorship for them, so as they progress through middle school and high school that they graduate. So it's a really nice program that we've had a lot of success the last couple of years with that. We're in year 4 of our Warrior Pride PBIS program. Hopefully you'll see a video floating around there with some dancing going on. We had a great assembly with the band and the cheerleaders pumping it up. So the 5th and 6th grade kiddos are excited about it, as well as the 7th and 8th. So our fall sports teams are going like crazy. We have great band and choral numbers right now. So it's good to be a Warrior.
Good. And I'm remiss, I should have asked you first. How are you tonight?
I'm fantastic.
And Mr. Bias, you round it out for us and you can give your first official report. How are you tonight, by the way?
A lot better than I was last meeting. I'm not down the verge of passing out. So. No, just really quick. So we had our third day enrollment, 234 students in the Valley. Just like the middle school, we had a red carpet event for our students. The first day of school, we packed them into the cafeteria there. Went over our school-wide expectations. Then we lined the major hallway from the main hallway with a red carpet and kind of some streamers and stuff. Teachers lined it. All the kids from first grade, because our kindergartners went there, but from first grade to 4th grade, they came out. Teachers cheered them on, welcomed them back, got them excited to be back in the building. All the kids loved it. Their faces were lighting up. To keep on with our PBIS. That was recognized by the Pennsylvania Positive Behavior Support for their successful implementation of Tier 1 PBIS. And they actually received an email for our PPIS team to go present at the statewide conference of their implementation of it. So like they have been working super hard there. They're killing it. Our picture day is coming up at the beginning of October. Our PTO is going to be at the fall festival, and we have a walkathon coming up. So things are picking up. It's busy. I just want to thank everybody. Everybody's been super helpful, trying to get me to adjust. I can make a phone call, get some help super fast, especially from Joe. So he's been super helpful, and his staff's been really great. So thank you for all letting me be here.
Okay, thank you. Okay, with that then, we'll move on to the agenda items for the evening. And I believe we can put G1 through G5 together. And if I can have your consent to do that, although if there's a separation you need to make, let me know. But if you take a moment, look at G1 through G5, and if you're good with approving them together, we will do that. So take a moment when you're ready. Let's have a motion.
Move to approve.
Second. Okay. Any questions on any of the items? Okay, hearing none, all in favor approving G1 through G5, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. For personnel, I think we can do P1 through P6 unless you see something where you need to make a separation. So I would have your consent to do P1 through P5 or P6 together unless you need a separation. Take a moment to look them over.
On P6, Daniel and Dan, they're the same size, so we don't need to approve one of them.
Okay, we have a redundant line there, is that what you're saying? Okay, let's strike that redundant line out. Dan would like probably to double pay, but.
And for chair.
Science department.
A more biblical name, I'll go Daniel.
Okay.
That's when the first
Yes,
and that would be Gen 2, needs to be changed to head.
yeah, department head.
Is there some lingo change you'd like to?
The annual jury gets struck. And it's Dan Jury, Science Department Head. And Jennifer Brenneisen, that should read Math Department Head. This has to do with level of pay.
Okay, thank you. So did you get that correction, board? Not hearing any objections or need for separations, I'll entertain a motion to approve P1 through P6. Move to approve. Okay, any questions?
Yeah, on P3, estimator, the paraprofessional, a new position, IU.
That's because we absorbed the IU programs, so it's new to us.
Okay.
Any others? Hearing none, then all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Then P7 stands on its own, I guess, approval to reinstate that position, and that's all it is, just an approval to reinstate the position for assistant principal.
Motion to approve.
Need a second.
Second.
Okay. Discussions, questions?
Yes. I would like to table the motion. We got paperwork tonight with a lot of input from staff, and there isn't anybody on this board that's had a chance to read it all yet. So I would like to table the motion until the next board meeting where everybody has a chance to read the comments from the staff.
Okay, we have a motion to table until next meeting. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second to table until next meeting. Any discussion or questions on that? Yeah. All right, then, all in favor of tabling that motion to the next meeting, say aye.
Aye.
And opposed?
No.
No.
And I think we have a 2-7 count. Yeah, okay, all right. Then, all right, so that motion doesn't make it, so moving now back to the approval to reinstate that position. And that's all it is, it's just reinstating it, it's putting it on the books. That doesn't mean we've hired somebody. The district may go out and find there's no one out there. That's a possibility.
But it gives them permission to go out and.
It does.
And try to find somebody.
It does, yes, yes.
When was the position removed? So it was, we're not, this isn't adding a position, it was at one time a position that was removed within what, 6 or 7 years ago?
I think it was just by attrition, it was never rehired, is that right, Dan?
Yes.
Yeah, so it was by attrition in 2007, it was 16, 17, in there. Yeah, in that range.
Will a copy of the job description be posted on the website?
Will it? Will the job description be
Yeah,
posted on the
I
website?
would like to see a copy of the job description because it obviously has to be changed because there's an emphasis on the counseling functions that this position is going to have that I don't believe we're going for.
Okay.
And it's a lot of those functions that's why I'm in favor of this position.
And that's also a position description we would have to approve anyway, right, Dan?
If you're changing the current, yes.
Yeah, okay, all right, and then we've got work to do that if we believe there should be some modifications to that, so.
Well, and I guess just to go on the record, it seemed like are we allowed to say anything about what was presented to us or no?
Yeah, you know what, if we can take a sidebar for a second, I apologize to the public. If we had an executive session prior to this meeting with an internal committee of staff to discuss safety and security, and it spilled over into some topics that were sensitive, so it mostly was safety and security. So I apologize for not announcing that at the beginning. Ron reminded me, and I forgot again, Ron, sorry. So make that note that somewhere in the record that I noted that we had that executive session. All right, Sue, so your question is, can we do what?
Well, like to follow up on Ron's comment that a lot of information was presented. Like, I mean, I felt like the message about this position was consistent and clear. Am I allowed to say that?
Yeah, you know, it spilled over into mental health discussions, which is a safety and security. They're interlocked. We know that. You can't get away from the two. So
Well, I did scan through. We were provided a lot of documents, but I believe I scanned through most of them.
Surface level. Yeah. We have to stay to surface level with what we discussed.
And it seems like there was consensus as opposed to being a lot of different opinions that we would need to read through to.
Well,
And I think this position isn't just administrative. It is there, adding it back in will be a positive impact on our students. I think it's something necessary for our students at that middle school level, where we're seeing problems since it's been removed.
That would actually increase instructional time, I believe.
Yes.
If you follow the thorough logic of what this person would be addressing, I believe that it would actually free teachers up to increase instructional time for the students.
as it is now, both assistant principal positions at the high school and middle school are covered by one person. And the job has grown and the demands of it due to where we are as a society and for all those factors out there. Some of it is just untenable for one person to try to do both buildings. There are different clientele in both buildings. And the need is tremendous at the middle school. And that's why having kids just recently come through middle school, I'm well aware of those needs there, and I support it for that reason.
Just think of the needs of that teacher at the Valley that has all them IEP students in her class, his class, I don't know which. That's thinking of the needs of the kids.
Well, we can vote to add
Let's vote on
position
that
to go on right
position
now.
for that
I mean,
too.
we can-
Oh, yeah, let's just hire a bunch of people.
No, just one more, I think is what you're saying. We can do that. The board has to, that's our goal. We want to tell the administration to add a teacher out there, we can do that. So, we can put our money where our mouth is. We can definitely do that.
We can hire 2 teachers if we didn't fill this position.
Understand. All right, any more discussion or questions on approving this, reinstating this position?
So what are we saying, we could go ahead with the process of promoting it, advertising for it?
Well, the first thing is gonna be, we wanna see the job description, and if it delays us, like at the work session is in 2 weeks, perhaps it's on the agenda for approval of job description, or changing job description perhaps, I don't know. And then sometime in October, maybe they bring a candidate, that's, at some point they'll want to bring a candidate. They wouldn't have asked us to reinstate it if they didn't want to bring a candidate. Joe?
I was just going to say, as a board, we want to talk about that description, so you're going to put that on the agenda for work meetings?
Well, we'll make sure we get the current job description as soon as possible, and that would be a good idea, Joe, I think, to have discussion on that job description at the, and obviously recommendations from the administration on what that, why it is what it is, what might be better to include in the job description.
If we have to wait for that, would there be benefit to just approve that all at the same time?
There would be benefit to the filling this sooner rather than later.
As always, my position is with a declining over the last 5, 6, 7 years of declining enrollment. This board is constantly adding to administration. I don't know whether it's to make administration's jobs easier. I don't know what the reason is, but like one of our stakeholders spoke, you're talking you continue to hire people where the class sizes are at the top end. I'm not saying they're too high, don't get me wrong, but they are at the top end, a lot of them. And we can better utilize the money in this district by possibly bringing down those class sizes instead of expanding administration.
But if disciplinary issues and behavior issues have also increased exponentially, especially at the middle school age, I think leaving those unaddressed has potential impacts for our students' mental health and physical safety. And instructional time. I think some research says 50% of instructional time is lost to managing behavioral issues in the average classroom. So I guess that's my
Okay, well, we have the motion, the second, we've discussed it, unless there's something significant or pertinent more to add to it, folks, let's vote on this. So all in favor of reinstating the position of assistant principal for C.E. McCall Middle School, say aye. Aye. Opposed?
Opposed. I do have one question, Dave. Are you sure we had a first and a second on that? Did we have a first and a second? Okay.
Wouldn't be the first time something got lost in the shuffle.
Well, I wasn't sure.
Okay, moving on to PY1 for policy. We have those second and final readings of all of those policies, which we, last meeting, we had discussion about some language. Dan sent us an email that provided clarification on language, just a couple of terms about timely. So, we have a motion to approve the second and final readings of all of those policies, or perhaps a need to separate something, but I don't think so.
I would move to approve. Second.
Okay. Any questions on any of the policies or?
Yeah, I do. There was 3 policies that were, the PDF file was too large for me to print out, so Dan graciously gave them to me tonight. Could you, Dan, show me in policy 104, 247, and 252 where the changes are, so I can look at them?
Are they marked on, they should be crossed through in text on your copies.
Well, like I say, I just got them tonight, so I didn't have a chance to
And
go through them.
actually those, okay, 104 will be completely different from the current, because that takes us into compliance with the new Title IX.
Okay.
So that will be different than, they won't look at all like each other.
That's just 104, right?
Yep. What was your other one?
247.
247, that's a similar situation that was coming out of Title IX.
That's all new?
So that will look different. And these are compliance changes.
Right.
What was your other?
252.
252 did not exist in the district.
Okay.
That's a Title IX addition.
Okay.
That's dating violence.
249. Policy 249, the words, that's one that your search didn't pick up.
249.
Yes, it says, under complaint procedure, number 2, it says the principal shall conduct a timely, impartial, thorough, and comprehensive investigation of the alleged hazing. This one, along with the one on, hang on,
247 is hazing, not 249. Right?
249 is bullying
and
and
cyberbullying.
Yeah.
Yes.
And where are you at?
On 249. Under complaint procedure number 2, that's where it says it. I'd like a time limit for complaint procedure, yes.
Is that in the form or is that in the policy?
Are you looking on the district website under policies? Because I found a discrepancy where
You're
249.
approving new.
Yeah, those are the older.
You're approving new.
Yeah, what's on the website is actually the old stuff.
Right, and what's on the website, it says relationship between staff and students.
Yes, numbers change.
And this is bullying and cyberbullying, the new one.
I had sent an email when these first originally hit the agenda, because there were so many that summarized. We had some numbers that changed, some were new. That's this email. 249, old was relationships between staff and students.
Yes.
That moves to policy 824, titled Maintaining Professional, Adult, and Student Boundaries. And then 249, new becomes the bullying, cyberbullying.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, And under complaints and procedure, number 2, it's, it'd be, it'd be page 2.
Page 2.
Under complaint procedure.
I don't see that anywhere on. Is that the one we got sent to us today?
This is one that Diana printed out for me.
It's under first reading. So that was removed.
I don't think it was removed on this one, was it?
249. So you're at the bottom of the policy. I'm not guidelines. I'm not sure what she sent you.
See, this is the policy.
This is the 249. Second reading. I don't see complaint procedure on here.
Must have got removed then.
I'm not sure what this one is, because it goes delegation of responsibilities, guidelines, so delegation of responsibility guidelines. It does not go into complaint procedure.
So all that was removed.
Yeah, because there's a report form now to go by.
All right.
And that's, again, that's for all of Title IX compliance, which we're out of compliance until these are passed.
We're on the ones where timely manner was taken out.
Yeah, so that was in 247 under hazing.
Yes.
It said the principal shall conduct a timely, impartial, thorough, and comprehensive investigation of the alleged hazing. The new 247 removes that language.
Why?
So the old board policy 247 had it in, the new removes it.
Right.
The next place I found was 252, that's the dating violence that is new to the district. It had the same statement, principal shall conduct a timely. Timely was removed.
Right.
Principal shall conduct an impartial, thorough, and comprehensive investigation. And then the third
was one that
it was 236-1, threat assessment, it has the word timely.
Right.
But how that is, it's okay.
Why, what's the reason why we can't put a time limit in there, like 48 hours? It would prevent somebody from sitting on, and I'm not saying it happens, Dan, so don't get me wrong. But it would prevent, it would assure that nobody sits on information.
So there was a form that went with 247, which triggers the whole process. So and that goes to the Title IX coordinator, and Title IX puts the, once that kicks in, that puts the time clock in place. So you'll see in some of the sexual harassment policies, there were time limits on things. Those come directly from Title IX and PSBA.
Yeah, and that's why I don't understand why there wasn't a time limit. Instead of just taking out in a timely manner, I didn't understand why there wasn't a time limit put there in its place.
PSBA did not provide that for those particular policies. But this would hit Title IX where those, if it is a Title IX incident, would trigger those clocks.
Okay. Well, your question was, nothing
Ron, are
prevents
you
us.
saying that we
Yeah,
should
nothing-
add that?
We can add that. That's a
I think
discussion.
my opinion, where we took out in a timely manner, we should have a time frame in there. Instead of just taking out in a timely manner, I think there should be a time frame in there. And it's more like a check and balance thing where, it's an assurance that things are gonna be done right. I'm not, and don't, like I said, I'm not saying they're, I suspect they won't be, but there needs to be checks and balances.
And the language now reads, the principal shall, proposed language was last reading, the principal shall conduct an impartial, thorough, comprehensive investigation. Now, the investigation could take a window of time, of course. So would it be commencing the investigation? Might that be, because you don't know whether it would take 3 days or 10 days.
And I agree with that.
So
commencing it should be.
Yeah, okay. So, well, of course, I don't do those, so Dan, you and your staff would be the one that would be doing those. What's a reasonable amount of time to give you the jump on something like that?
Let me check these other, I want to be consistent with
Yeah.
the others that you're passing tonight, so
Initiate.
just give me a second to.
And remember, we can revise these next month if we want to. I mean, that's our prerogative, it's our policy, so nothing prevents us from, coming up with something better a month from now.
And I understand that, but why keep pushing it? We pushed it from last month. Now, I prefer not to push it again.
Well, like you said, at least get something in there, and then if something better occurs, we could always.
I mean, you do want to address it soon, so within,
Right.
I would say within 5 days. The problem with that is you want somebody addressing that day of. I mean, hazing we've seen around the state, what's been going on, programs are being shut down. So I wouldn't want somebody, I have 5 days, so that's the other. Immediately, that day, within a day, that they need to begin that investigation.
Well, Dan, how about this? Within 24 hours, they need to start the investigation.
And with what's going on around, not just the area, but the state.
Oh, I know, I've been seeing it.
Football has been an issue around.
Right,
Yes.
at least like the phone calls, there's been initiating contact at least with the victim and the accused perpetrator, or.
Well, you have, and the school has to be careful to not butt into law enforcement either. So
I understand.
there's got to be caution there too, but we could put within.
But Dan, if they contact law enforcement to work with them or whatever, they're initiating.
Yeah, that's commenced. It has, yeah.
That's within 24 hours. So that will read, the principal shall conduct a timely, impartial, thorough, and comprehensive investigation of the alleged hazing within. See, they're not going to be able to do a thorough and comprehensive investigation.
No.
So the principal shall initiate.
Yes.
So the principal shall initiate an investigation within 24 hours.
And conduct a thorough and partial.
And we begin to conduct a timely, impartial, thorough, and comprehensive investigation of the alleged hazing. So you want me to read that one more time?
Sure. Bullying for the bully policy? Is that what you're?
Yeah, there's 3 policies that orders will be put on.
247, 252, and It's at 249.
Yeah, thanks.
So that will read, the principal shall initiate an investigation within 24 hours.
Of incident.
Of the report being filed, or, because
Of being informed.
24 hours of notification. I'll have to read this again. So I'll just start from the beginning one more time. The principal shall initiate an investigation within 24 hours of notification and begin an impartial, thorough, and comprehensive investigation of the alleged hazing.
Yes.
And conduct, you can just say conduct. Now, did you say begin?
Yeah.
Because you're initiating.
Begin to
Then just
conduct.
Or and conduct, you just, because your beginning is
is this separate?
you already did. Yeah, so, and conduct, blah, 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 the rest of your sentence, and conduct a timely, so that's where this phrase fits right in there. Principal shall initiate an investigation within 24 hours of notification and conduct a timely, impartial, thorough, and comprehensive investigation of the alleged hazing. How's that?
That's what I have.
I just hope you never have to use those policies.
So that will apply to 247, 249, does 249 have that phraseology?
Yep.
240 and 252.
No, wait, can I just be thorough? But in some situations, does the Title IX coordinator, the one who's initially receiving the complaint, and then they would notify the principal?
If it's hazing, it's all going to be coordinated together. You're going to get Title IX, you're going to get principal, assistant superintendent will be involved. That's going to just initiate a whole process.
It'll kick it off, so it's not like the Title IX coordinator could sit on it for 3 days and then the principal would be notified.
Okay, are we good with that language addition? Okay. All right, then, can somebody offer a friendly amendment to add that language to the final reading, or do we have to do, we have to do this all over again, do we? We can revise this and make it a final reading, can't we? Yeah.
Please do.
Yeah. Okay, would someone offer a friendly amendment to add that language as
I would like
discussed?
to offer a friendly amendment to add that language as discussed.
Okay, do we have a second? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, language has been added. Now back to the policies themselves, approving them. Motion to approve the policies as amended.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any more, I don't want to ask, but any more discussion? Okay, hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Okay, moving on to one that probably has a few sticklers to it, transportation issues. And we have the, T1 is for the approval of the busing rates. We have the amounts, we don't have the background information on that. Attorney's not so sure that we need it. If we'd like to have that, we could approve these provisionally. The second item, though, approval of the drivers and monitors. That background check is done by others. All we get is a name. In theory, we could reject it, but it's their employee, it's our contractor by virtue of the bus company. So. Again, we could approve those provisionally, provided we receive the information, or we could table it either way. So we either have the provision in each one of them. If you want the background information on Promised Land, you want to approve it provisionally. If you want to see those names for the drivers and monitors, we can approve it provisionally upon satisfactory receipt of those names. So there's nothing that we can't approve these tonight. But again, we can table them, which we probably don't want to do for the drivers and monitors. So I guess I'd entertain a motion on T1, and then hopefully a second, we can discuss it, see what you want to do, amend it, whatever, so.
I'll move to approve.
Do we have a second on T1?
I'll second it.
Where would you like to go with that, folks? Do you want to add a provisional statement to it, or just approve those two amounts?
I think we should add a provisional statement for responsibility purposes.
Okay, all right. So, care to give me some language?
Pending receipt
Of the supporting documentation, like that? All right, so pending receipt of the supporting documentation, all right. And that's actually Joe's motion. This T1 is not a motion per se. He just made the motion, so that's what we have. We have approval of those busing rates in those amounts pending receipt of the supporting documentation. So we can vote on that. Okay, making notes. All right, any more discussion on that? All right, hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. And T2, so request to have that approved. Do we have a motion that would do something similar, or do you want to wait? And what would you like to do, board? Let's do the motion in second.
I'll make the motion with the same provision.
All right, so we have a motion to approve the drivers and monitors pending receipt of supporting documentation. Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion or questions? Okay, hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Okay, that completes our agenda items, and let's move now to the committee reports. And I'll ask Madam Vice President to walk us through committee reports.
Okay, I don't have anything for PSBA. Dr. LaCrone, do you have anything more for policy?
I do not have anything for policy tonight.
Okay. Are you?
Our meeting is next Wednesday.
Next Wednesday. LCTC.
We meet this Thursday. I guess I could just say the enrollment is up somewhat at the LCTC. I think it's that last month that Benton School District has been sending students over, and we just picked up a few students from Millville High School. So they like what LCT, like the LICO, the CTC offers, as opposed to, I think in some cases, kids being at a specific school for the whole day, which is the case for Central Columbia. What's the name of that? Is it Central Columbia? Or where do they go all day long?
Columbia Montoursville.
Columbia Montoursville, yeah. So I think they like the half day or part.
Sorry, that was squirrel.
And snow.
Yeah, okay.
Dave, I have a question for you. Since the enrollment's going up from other schools, is there going to be an adjustment what we're paying LCTC, or are they going to put the money in their coffers to?
No, there's a fixed what's the term? Mr. Budget, what's our fixed term for the money they carry over? It's, I've gone blank. Budgetary reserve, that's fixed every year. They don't build it, it's fixed. No, actually, potentially, because these other districts that are sending without the formal agreement, they actually are paying a premium. It has all the potential to actually reduce ultimately, when the final accounting is done a year from now, it'll reduce our students' costs from what the budgeted amount would be. And that budgeted amount, I believe, is set, well, I think I'll find out Thursday night what the budgeted amount is. And that, but then a year from now, they'll do the number crunching, and ultimately, we will pay less than what we're going to be seeing on Thursday night as a budgetary matter. Partly because of those other schools sending a little bit more expensive students to us. Anyway, okay, that's all I have.
Thank you. Mr. Almer, your 3 areas from the report all together?
Okay, I'll start with Memorial Gardens. The last fundraising total that was shared, we were at 101,000. I think it's progressing very nicely. We will see the construction of a new walkway beginning here in the fall. Nothing to report on the budget. And for the foundation, again, the main fundraiser for the foundation will be November 9th. It is an invitation only event because attendance is capped. It's going to be at a permanent route, but there's going to be inside. If anyone would care to sponsor a table, contact Mr. Mike Musto, who is the foundation chairperson, or if you have an organization that wants to. Can't pay the price on that. It's a little hefty, but that's the name of the game when you're talking about fundraising for the foundation. And that's all I have.
I'd like to add something on the about the foundation or for the play or for the 800 memorial. If you don't have anything to do Sunday, down at the Montoursville Fairgrounds, the Steel Wheel car shows down there, expecting about 1,000 vehicles, and it benefits the Flight 800 Memorial.
Yeah, we get that. We're not sure what it'll be. They're going to share some of their profits with us. The better the attendance, hopefully the better our share will be.
Okay, building and grounds?
Yeah, as far as addressing the issues, Joe, with the valley and later on the hot days, David shared with the board, sent out a information dating back 18 years ago till present, and it was kind of, surprising to me that there was so few days from August 25th to September 20th that there was as little as 3 days in that time frame that hit 90. There was on average like 4 days, like 1 year I think had 7, and I even counted at 85 degrees and above. So, when you look at those statistics, it's kind of hard, to take and take the steps to get air in both those places. But I just wanted to share that information so you knew, what we know. And then, Joe, as far as, is there any way that we can, like, take initiative when these days are hitting? I mean, that day that we speak of was a fluke in a lot of ways, and it was so hot outside, inside, it didn't matter. I mean, and I felt bad, for the situation, for sure. But is there any way, like, in the future, like, to open up those windows, draw blinds, the night before? The bad part about the valley and lighter also is that it's a brick. And when it's a brick, what does heat do to brick? It just absorbs it and it holds it. And which is great in the winter, but unfortunately, those two buildings not being set up with the air, when you have hot days like you all summer, it's just an oven. That's why they invented in-floor heat and concrete, because it does such a good job in retaining the heat. So, I just figured I'd bring that up to you to see what, if there's anything that possibly, like, I know it's probably difficult for these teachers the night before to maybe crack a window, it's.
Well, we don't condone that. We keep secure building overnight, but we do tell the teachers, I've told the principals and administration that windows should be open early in the morning when they get there. They should be closed before the humidity pours in. That doesn't always happen, no matter what you're told.
Right.
So people
What
think
about blinds? Is there
there's
blinds?
blinds, absolutely, and that's what we tell them to do. It's not perfect, but when it's 75 and humid overnight, it's very hard to get that out of the building. It just is. Yes. Especially like libraries are worse, so, believe it or not. It's just in the middle of pavement, it's hot.
Right.
It's hot in the winter.
I just wanted to,
Yeah. It's something we discussed.
oh, no, I mean, Alice.
Okay, thank you. Extracurricular? Mr. Ballard? Okay. Back to you.
Okay, thank you.
This time, I got a couple questions before we go to public comment.
Sure.
The first question, I guess, is for Sebastian. When's the live stream / Zoom system going to be completed so stakeholders can call in with public comment if they want to?
The last update that I received from the company who's doing the installation was that the equipment is expected to arrive in November. I have not heard any changes since then.
Okay. Next one's for you, Dan. Is it true that an email was sent around to staff looking for someone to stay after school starting in October to supervise kids in the conference room so they can play video games at $31 an hour?
So these, no. To answer your question. These are the after-school programs that we started with the ESSER funds last year that are going to continue this year. At the high school, there's video game club, there is the wellness center, and there's a homework club. At middle school, you run.
It's intramural, and then we were talking about a gaming.
So it's an intramural and a gaming club, and then homework club, and then so similar to what the high school's doing. And then elementary, I don't know if you were doing skills, kind of like a homework club, but it was more targeted to learning loss that ESSER's is looking at. So, and yes, that's the contracted rate of $31 an hour.
My concern is for $31 an hour, and the elementary and what you said, the elementary and the middle school, what they're doing is education oriented. Playing video games isn't really education oriented.
Well, I would welcome you to come to Game Club, to see the kids that we're pulling into that. A lot of the kids that are coming to that are unplugged from school. This gives them a place, because part of that was social skills too. It's the social and emotional part of what those funds are going to be spent on. And gaming does that. It plugs these kids into something that normally they're out here. As soon as that bell rings, they're the first ones out the door. And now they're not. And gaming, we could sit and argue the benefits of gaming.
Well, let me ask you this then. Who monitors the type of games that they're playing?
The district does. Those are provided by the district. There's board games, video games. It's not just, they give some chess boards in there. It's a variety of games.
So it's not,
It's not Call of Duty, it's not, no, it's not the shooters. But, I'd like you to come down and see it.
You understand my concern?
I know, and as you phrased it, we're paying $31 an hour to watch kids play games. Okay, you stopped it there. You gotta continue the rest of that story. It's plugging kids in where they would normally not be attached to the school. They bolt when that bell rings. Now they're not. It's a group of kids that have come together, they enjoy it. I talked to one in the hall today, looking forward to it starting back up. Some of them go home with nothing. There's no parent, there's nothing there. It's helping a group of kids that have been ignored because we don't provide things. And this may turn into an esports program. I know that's been discussions.
So how much are we spending, let's say, monthly for how many hours after school?
They do, are they doing 2 days?
Yes.
2 days of game. So it's 2 days.
How many hours each day?
They go, what, 3, Cindy?
1 hour.
1 hour a day.
Tuesdays and Thursdays for 1 hour.
Basically, 3:30, 4:30.
Just, we do keep data on who's coming, and we've noticed a lot of the students that have, that need the extra support with social emotional needs are coming to this, that have never been involved in anything in the school. So we are seeing a positive impact immediately from that club.
Okay. That's all I have. Question I needed answered.
I thought Ron was gonna do it for 20.
Mr. Snell, I mean, as part of why we started the positive behavior, is we're seeing increasing amounts of students that aren't connected. And we're trying to find all kinds of creative ways to, connect them to each other that's not negative. And, that's something that we started based this year with gaming, based on the feedback that we received from the high school. So we're looking to incorporate that at the middle school and just trying to find opportunities for all kids to build rapport and mentor them as much as we can. If they're more connected to what we're doing in the school, they're going to do much better academically and emotionally in the school.
There is just one more question. This is ESER's funds being used to pay for this.
Only
What
at the
happened?
middle school.
What?
Only at the middle school, there were foundation funds last year that were spent. We had a grant through the foundation.
Yeah, the
last year.
foundation provided last year's for the high school. Not the payroll part of it was the ESSER funds.
What happens when the ESSER's funds run out?
Well, that's what we have to tackle when that time comes. We have one more year after this. And then we have to look at it. That's why esports is being looked at and considered to make it competitive and keep these kids plugged in. And yeah, that will be a cost of the district to pay for a coach, to coach those. There's more than just classrooms that we need to do right now with kids. It expands beyond the 8:20 to 3:15. Sports isn't for everybody.
We're trying to get the battle box, like Team TSA back involved in the middle schools. We're trying to get all these different teams involved.
You don't have the battle box anymore?
We have a competition team. We like to get Kit and then an advisor for that. So we have X robotics and so forth. So we're trying to incorporate as much hands-on and connected activities as possible.
And it's still at the high school level.
Yeah, COVID interfered with the actual competition part of that. But I think it's back this year.
Yeah, they were in the other day.
And that's a whole different group of kids. So.
Right.
Just making those connections is really coming out of what kids just came out of. It's important to make those connections right now. And then we have to find some creative ways to sustain that. And some of those will come at a cost.
Wasn't the battle box, weren't they funded by donations?
Yeah, they're almost completely
That's what I thought.
self-funded. There are a couple of things we help with here and there. But yeah, a lot of programs are that way. Mock Trial is a lot. Ag does a whole lot of fundraising to fund a lot of what they do. So, when I say it'll come at a cost, it may not be the full burden of the district. Some of that might be shared. So that's what we have to get creative.
Okay. With that, then we'll move down to the final public comment section of the meeting, and I invite you to come forward and offer some comments. Tell us who you are, where you live, and we'll give you 3 minutes, an unpaused time frame to talk to us.
Jack Callahan again. I'd like the school administration, whoever has a secretary, to celebrate National Secretary Day. I think our secretary should be honored on that day. Any way that, you'd like to honor them, take them out to lunch, have something brought in or whatever. And I think it's a good idea. I know the secretaries, I used to know quite a few of them, but I knew a couple at the high school, and that's about it. Well, I probably know some other ones, and they always are helpful, and they do a good job. Also, I'd like to see spelling bees reenacted. I don't know if you have them at the middle school.
Just geography bee, we do not have spelling.
Yeah, I participated in one. I don't want to say what I did, but I'll say what I did. I just wanted to bail. I didn't want to do it, so they asked me to spell booth, and I goes B-O-T-H, and I says, that's it. So, and I was in the basement of the 6th grade room. That was where the whole 6th grade was. They were all the kids were sitting on the things out in the hall, and yeah, it was all right, but I didn't want to go on. So anyways, and I also spent my 10th grade year down there in the basement too, so I think it was kind of cool, huh?
Chained up.
Chained up. You know, I served 4 years, whatever. And then I see these schools around here, and I see Southside and Loyalsock, and I don't think we have to follow suit about the volleyball. I don't know how you go about starting volleyball. I mean, it's probably a cheap, well, I don't think it's a cheap sport. You have to have a coach and transportation and other lines on the basketball court. And I don't know if it'd be there or what, you know, for the girls. I guess it's just girls. But if you take Lewisburg, they have bowling and they have field hockey and they have everything possible down there. And I think they're wearing themselves thin in some sports. But whatever, that's the direction they've taken, and they've been going at it like that for years. And I don't know, whatever anybody wants to do is fine with me. I mean, but I don't know if volleyball would fly here or not. You know, whatever. I think we're doing decently in all our sports, so I don't know. So that's about it.
Hey Jack, I just want to let you know that I always lost the spelling bee too when they asked me to spell wash, because I spelled it W-A-R-S-H. Wash.
Okay.
Hopefully I don't lose my train of thought here. I don't have it written down. Do much better when it's written down. Brenda O'Brien. W-A-R-S-H, and it's yellow, just so you know. So I wanted to talk about the air conditioner just a little bit. I've been telling people 00 and 08 are our best options considering the money that we owe on the old high school. Second of all, and this is kind of an odd topic, and I don't want to bring light to it. There are times that I do chuckle about it, but I know that at Hughesville they were having a discussion about the furries. And when I visited a family member in a nursing home, sorry for my gum, a mom from Montoursville, she told me a story about a student that was meowing in class and interrupting her daughter from learning. And the daughter complained to the teacher about it, and she was told just to ignore it. It didn't stop, and the daughter of this mom videoed the student doing this. And that student, the person that did the videoing, was suspended. That wasn't this year, that was last year. As you know, my kids are not currently in the school, but you know, we hear stories like that and we know it's an issue in other schools, and we don't want it to be an issue here. I'm hoping that, you know, my kids won't have to listen to someone interrupting them while they're trying to learn. And I can definitely appreciate, you know, the idea that this, you know, twofer counselor / vice principal would be handling, you know, some of the discipline, but also some of the counseling, which then I would like to know how our district is handling these things, you know, such as the furries and my opinion is, I hope we're not entertaining it, but that we are treating it as someone that may need some help and needs to be redirected. I don't take that lightly at all. So, how is Montoursville handling it? Is it an issue here? I don't want to talk about it a lot and make it an extra issue by any means. And yeah, I think there was one other thing that I was trying to remember, but I can appreciate that there are different issues that our districts are dealing with now, that we have to deal, we need extra help in the counseling. Oh, I just remembered it, sorry about that. As for the new hire, Montoursville, you know, I have certain politics. The person you hire is going to have certain politics. A lot of these issues many times fall into a certain, you know, political direction as to what they will allow in districts and what they won't. So I'm hoping that, I know that Mrs. Basin chooses the candidates, but that this board will really continue, because I really like the hires that have just been done. I really like, you know, what you're doing so far, I think. We'll see. I just can't say that because I don't know you well enough. So I'm not saying that, you know, you're bad. I'm just saying we'll see. That's right. Okay. So I'm a Republican, just saying. So anyways, yeah, I think, what was I saying about help me out, guys. Where was I with the last point? Oh, the hire and how you screen them. It's very important to just get a little bit of background. Don't be opposed to search them on Facebook, whatever you gotta do to make sure that they fall into that, especially when they're going to be a counselor, because counselors can change the trajectory of a child's life in many ways. And yeah, thank you.
Okay, if there's no one else in the public, there's no one else in the public that wants to come forward, we'll...
Can I just add a couple of things? Because I didn't get a turn up here, I'm sorry. I had a couple of things I wanted done.
Oh, Mr. Trevino wants to give us a report on a couple items.
It's going in and out, I don't know why. Just a couple of things. Normally, this is the agenda that you would have third day enrollment on. That will come at the work session, so you will get enrollment numbers at the work session this month. I would also, and to kick this around for next meeting, I would like there to be a discussion by the board on entertaining work sessions, not regular meetings, but work sessions at alternate sites. We had a pretty good turnout when we did our outreach programs, and it might be nice to move us work sessions only. I'd like to propose the 25th of October at Plunkett's and a January or February work session at the Valley. Please put that in to your mind, think about it, and I'd like to have a discussion around that at our work session.
You said it,
in September. Yeah, where we have that room would work for for a meeting, and I just think it would help continue our outreach to the townships rather than always having them come into here. So think about it. If you have any questions, we can have a discussion at the September work session.
Did you say
The 25th,
February?
in January, February, because of weather. If we'll schedule it for January at the Valley. If it snows, it's not going to snow, Joe says, but if it snows, that would be pushed to February. And that would not be the regular meeting, that would be work sessions.
Yep, okay.
And that's all I had. I just want to credit the folks you heard from in the reports, the admin team, and of course the staff. We know how important our teachers are. Just everybody in the district for a great start to the school year. We had a lot of hiring to do, as I said at our last meeting. Looks like some of that's creeping up again, but we will tackle that. And really great, fantastic start. To be able to be out in the open houses and had everybody's opening. There were more tears from parents at kindergarten first day than kids. So we were consoling moms, not kids, on that kindergarten start. And but really, really fantastic to see the welcome that our kids get when they come to our buildings. Is just wonderful. So thank you to the admin team. Well done, great start. Let's keep the momentum going.
Dan, question for you. Do you?
No more questions.
I think it's important. Are you having the chance to go around to the different schools on a rotation basis?
Yeah, so to commit to that, every Friday I set up meetings with each of the principals. Start at 9 a.m. and at the Valley and cycle through all the buildings. They can either, it's their time, so we can meet and discuss, or take a walk around the building and point out what's going on. So yes,
I think it's important.
And that's helping me, because I am struggling. I am missing my kids. Someone mentioned the sideline prowling. I'm watching football from the stands. I don't like it. It's not. Not only is it not comfortable, it just I don't have that contact that I once did in the former role. So I'm finding ways to get them, and the guys have been great about welcoming me in the building. So yes, every Friday is a definite.
How is the curriculum side of your job description coming?
So that is because of where we are. That is going to be a slow and painful process. At the conclusion of this year, with what we started at the beginning in service, we will have pacing guides in grades 5 through 12 completed. So we'll know who's teaching what, when, how long they're spending on it. What I'm already seeing are some overlaps in what we're doing, and those will be corrected. And then from there, we're going to go to a full mapping process. And that's going to be one of those annual fees that will be coming to you. We're going to get some software to help us with the mapping. And the goal of that is to select certain parts of that mapping process to have it publicly viewable so that we have transparency around curriculum. I know that bill's floating out there, it comes and goes. I just want to be ahead of that. And I want people to know what we're doing. So that's where we're at with that. Okay? And that we did, there's no annual fee on that. We set up something in Google Classroom.
See, they weren't hard questions, were they?
No, they weren't.
Okay, board, if there's nothing else, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Meeting is adjourned.